Hey Remax fans, here back again with you guys for another episode, and today we decided after Labor Day weekend, as we're approaching the fourth quarter here, what's kind of going on in the macro aspect of real estate, what's going on in the micro climate right here, specifically in San Diego. We've got a tremendous amount of talent and experience sitting right in front of me here. Mike Safiedine, broker owner of Remax, two locations here, one in Rancho Redondo, Carlsbad. He's been in the business for over 20 years, came out of Detroit, did it in San Diego, is building an empire. Obviously, David has been around for decades. He's worked in the escrow industry, he's worked in the real estate industry, he's worked in the investment flipping industry. So he has great insight in regards of like what's happening at all levels. So I think that's kind of the topic is we've been hearing so much about the buzzword recession, right? When is that coming? How is that affecting us? Why are the interest rates dropping? Things like that. So I thought I'd kind of open it up, let David kind of talk a little bit about what he's seeing with his clients, what he's feeling, in his business as well. So what are you seeing, David?
Well, I'm seeing a lot of noise out there. Consumers they're pushing a lot of different directions. People are worried about the economy. They're worried about their jobs. They're worried about missing out on opportunities like these low rates. People who have homes, they've seen the appreciation of the homes. They're confused about, should I be thinking about selling? Are we going to have a drop? So there's some fear out there. There's a lot of confusion with all these companies coming to market here that I think some are doing a disfavor because they're not adding value to the consumer. They're adding value to themselves.
Right.
So I just see that we're lucky to be in a position to help people.
Right.
But I think there's too few of us doing that. So
I can't agree with you more. I mean, I look at it from a broker standpoint, right? And my clients are my agents now. So I'm saying, what can we do to help you guys get more deals? And when I hear that noise, and to me, honestly, it's a lot of fake noise.
Right.
You're hearing a lot of recession talk. You're hearing a lot of people, they're scared. Being in the business 23 years, we've seen some cycles, Brian. Come on,
Sure
you got
have.
how many years in the business?
I've been doing it 19 years now, so we've kind of gone through the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Right.
We've seen a little bit about that. And these growth cycles happen, right? We see that
That's
turbulence kind of go through.
That's right.
And right now with these low interest rates, there's a great opportunity still for buyers to capitalize on that long-term, situation. And I think going back to what Mike and David were saying in regards to the service, the knowledge, is sitting down with a professional advisor, looking at things from a short-term perspective,
Yep.
maybe looking at things from a distance, right, a long-term perspective, and then have that person put their goals down to see how you can accomplish that for your real estate needs. And I think that's what you get when you have experience unlike others. So as the old saying goes, you get what you pay for.
Right, yeah, and that's where cost becomes an issue, right? Cost becomes an issue in the absence of value. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
So when you see a lot of brokerages, the one percenters, or hey, you know what, do it and buy one, get one free listing, or whatever the heck they're doing, right? I see that in these type of times, they are going to struggle the most because there is no value.
Right.
It becomes all about cost. And we talked about it today in our training, right? About putting some money aside, budgeting for each listing, give them the service that we have. And why use a Remax agent? It took me some time to figure out what the difference was between a Remax agent and the industry, right? And you know what it boils down to? Experience and knowledge. We have 17 brokers out of the 53 agents that we have. That tells you something there. There's knowledge, there's experience. We also have people that average 10, 15, 20 years in the business. And they've been around these, waves of, the business is doing good, but not so much. We went through foreclosures. We went through some short sale, time in our life. And we know how to bounce back. And I think most agents don't know how to get back. And that becomes a problem.
yeah, and I'll add to it. The experienced agents know that in all markets, there's people buying, there's people selling.
The bottom line.
When we had markets that were down, there's people need to sell. Them, more than ever, needed a professional to help them navigate through the many, different things that you would need to do. Do you sell your house because you're underwater? Do you sell your house because maybe you have some other life impending thing? And you really need to work with people who have the experience and have the, I would say, the association with other great agents. I mean, that's one of the things why I like working here at Remax Connections in my short tenure here. It's just a gorgeous facility that's convenient to have people come in to educate them. We believe in contributing all the time to the community and providing value through educating people on what their options are.
Can't agree with you more.
But also the tools that we have here and the experience and the people and the energy that we have here. It's an awesome place to be.
Thank you for that, David.
And I've only been here a short time, but I feel like I'm starting to get my bearings here. And when I look 5 years down the road, I know the market's going to go up, it's going to go down, people are going to get pulled in all different directions, but I'm not going to change one thing I'm doing.
That's right.
Every day I'm grateful to be able to serve people, and at the end of the day, in doing that, have my heart in the right place and always being dedicated to strive to do the very best for people. Now I'm in an environment that I actually can do that even more because of some of the tools that we have here.
Sure.
And then just, again, some of the people you mentioned. We have experience levels at higher than I've seen in any other brokerage. 17 brokers, and I believe some of these people sit on some of our boards here in San Diego.
We have two that are the SDAR and one National Association of Realtors. I mean, it is like I'm so honored and actually grateful to have these knowledgeable agents because I learn a lot from them. We're always learning.
Absolutely. I think that goes without saying that we're always learning, but I think too what Dave was touching on is not only is our facility really great and the experience is really great, but it's the tools in which our broker here offers us. They're second to none. I think that's why the retention here at our company is so great.
Strong.
We don't have people leaving the company, and that's why we always see our numbers growing as far as production year in and year out. As they say, nobody sells more real estate than Remax. But I think from a micro standpoint, kind of switching gears,
sure.
One of the more popular questions from a buyer standpoint is I'm going to wait. And the question I always ask, and you guys probably ask, is what are you waiting for?
Right?
And so why don't you guys touch on some of that a little bit on the fear factor side and focus more on probably the pros of why you should be buying as opposed to the cons, because it's still a tremendous opportunity with where rates are at today.
Go ahead, take us off, David.
Yeah, well, we're seeing that there's, people are always wondering and worrying, is now a good time? Should I buy now? And, I like to kind of break it down, are you looking to do something short term?
There you go.
Or are you looking to do something long term?
Right.
Because I think that, when I look at supply and demand, I see there's no population controls. So people are going to keep having babies.
That's it.
And I think every generation that comes after the generation before it is going to be that much bigger. And, I see we have a housing crisis. I mean, I've been in all facets of real estate, and I've been an investor, flipper. I have rentals. And, I've seen rents just completely increasing year after year after year. And, the biggest complaint I get is, do you have any other rentals? Do you have any other this? And they fly off the shelves.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's happening with properties too, is, properties are going up in value, but they are relative to, the affordability. So we haven't got to a point yet to where homes are just unaffordable. Now, it is getting to the point to where not everybody's going to be able to buy a home.
Right.
But I think if you're sitting on the fence, you got to ask yourself, how long is your timeline? If you're looking, long term, maybe 5 years on out, then you're probably going to be safe to, buy now, probably get some appreciation. Hopefully things go good in your life, and then you're moving up to that next house, and you're taking the equity from one and going into the other. I mean, that's...
or to touch on David's point too, it's a great way to all of a sudden become an investor where you don't sell that home, you keep that home, you rent it out because, like you said earlier, affordability is difficult, right? And so before you break into buying, you're going to have to rent. And so if you can have that small investment property before you go buy your next one and keep it, maybe you can't afford that. So it's a great way to become an investor in San Diego, one of the hottest markets out there, right?
Yeah.
We get so much foreign outside money that comes into San Diego, and you know, they do, they drive the prices up, but we're kind of on an island, right? I mean, we have the ocean, we have the border, we have Camp Pendleton, and everything east is protected, so we kind of sit in this really unique geographical territory, right?
Can't agree with you more. I mean, you do property management.
I do. I've been managing property for 19 years now. I manage about $40 million worth of property throughout San Diego for private investors who each have different goals, right?
Right.
Some of them want to turn and burn. Some of them want long-term nest eggs. And again, we lay out what their goal is and then we try to accomplish that. But that's the nice thing about Remax too. The great things that we offer and tools is we're literally a one-stop shop. You can get property management, you can have buyer's agents, you can have top marketing for listing agents, we have lenders. So we work collectively to be able to service everybody in one roof. So we're not running around trying to find you this person, that person.
For sure.
We're all right here in-house. That's a great thing, right?
And I look at it from when you were asking me the question, when's a good time for the buy, is it a good time, whatever. This is where we kind of talked about earlier today, is really diving into the client's needs, right? Yeah. It's case by case.
Yeah.
If I sit down with somebody and they're single and they're not looking to buy for a while, then there's no urgency, right? I might say wait a couple months because I think the market may take a little bit more of a hit, and you never know, right? It could be a little bit better time to buy. If you're looking to sell, hey, let's go now. It's gonna weaken up a little bit probably in the upcoming months. But really taking the time and actually diving into the client's needs, finding out what their goal is. Like David said, short term, is it long term? So the answer is, maybe. Let's see. Let's dive in and see what works for you. It's not a one-size-fits-all type of shop. Yeah. And I think that's what separates the experienced agents with some of the newcomers. They sell for a year or two, and next thing you know, they got a coaching program. And, it's crazy because they haven't been through the volatile times, right? They only got some of the great times, and they tell you how easy it is for them to sell property. But this is when you let me know who's the real agent that's going to be standing under. Do they have a marketing plan? Are they going to stand behind their clients when prices are dropping? Are they going to be coaching them correctly? Are they in constant communication with their clients? And so their clients are not freaking out, right? Yeah. So that's what I say. This is what separates a lot of times an experienced agent with an inexperienced agent.
Yeah. And I'm going to leave you guys on one last little nugget. The average Remax agent works in the industry for almost 10 years before even becoming a Remax agent and being able to be hired by this company because of what they demand out of every single one of their agents. So go and find a Remax agent in your local community.
That's right.
Walk into that office, talk to the manager, see who you could sit down with as an expert and get good advice from that person on what you're going to do before you go do it. I think that's probably the best thing we could leave today is trying to find somebody with that expert opinion because things are changing and you want to know exactly what's happening in the current time.
Thank you for that, Brian. I mean,
thanks, Brian.
And from a brokerage standpoint, I talk to other agents and, why should I join your company? Remax is a little old. No, you mean distinguished. You mean experienced. Yeah. You mean been around for a while, not fly by night with all these shiny objects that they're putting in front of agents' faces, and then that's the way they're attracting some of those brokerages that are, right? I mean, I know we're probably going to be talking about this in the next episode because I truly want the public to know about these brokerages that are come and go type of people, right? And they have to buy their agents. So to me, that's where we talked about value. If I have to buy you, David, does that mean that I have any value to give you? I lost you. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I'll leave you with that.
Thank you so much, guys. Look forward to talking to you again on our next episode. Stay tuned.